Welcome everybody to the June meeting of the Plymouth Township Civil Service Committee. If everybody could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Second item on the agenda is attendance.
I have the attendance. We have our 4 current commissioners, which is awesome. And as our special member of the public, our commissioner designee, Patty Smith. Welcome to the Plymouth Civil Service Commission to be.
Thank you.
So just so you know, when you fill out the notary form, your appointment will be effective through the end of 2025. You're filling an unexpired term of the late Joe Subio, and then of course you will be eligible for reappointment during 2025.
Okay.
That's how that will work.
Okay. Did everybody get the May 2024 minutes? Everybody had the opportunity to review those minutes. If I could get a motion to accept the May 2024 minutes, we could.
I have a motion that we pass the minutes from last month.
A second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Next up on the agenda is the police department and hiring update. Lieutenant O'Brien is here, and if he could take care of that.
Okay, so as of today, we are over 200 applications.
Wow.
Yes.
Over 200?
Over 200. And we still have approximately 3 weeks to go. This is much better than I anticipated. I think it's possible we could get to 350 because anybody who does anything along these lines, the last week, it always becomes a flurry of activity. So I do not think that 350 is unrealistic, but we are very, very pleased. I'm going to meet next week with the director of the Public Safety Academy where we are having the written test to find out what the maximum number is that they can hold. We have the auditorium, and we also have some overflow rooms, but we don't have all the overflow rooms. And I'm going to make every effort with this board's approval to keep it to one test at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's exactly, you just anticipated my question, the issue was going to be.
Right.
And remember, our July meeting is going to be while the test is underway.
Right.
Okay.
If we keep going like this, there may have to be a second test at 1,400 hours, which I'm trying to avoid. But I will get an update out. Mondays are a little bit rough sometimes, but by Tuesday I'm going to go down there and meet face to face and see what exactly they can 100% guarantee in terms of space that I will have available.
Do you need someone to go with you, or is that something you're good with by yourself?
I'm actually okay. Anybody's
Okay.
welcome to come. The person who's running that Public Safety Academy now, his name's John Weed. I've known him for a number of years. He's a recently retired law enforcement officer. He's always been more than cooperative, but that is a training campus for a lot of different units, police, fire, and medic. And they have a lot of activities going on there. So I will know more on Tuesday at the latest about where we stand with the maximum number, and then we'll keep our eye as we start approaching that red line about whether we have to have 2 tests, which we've never had to do, I don't believe. And it's a good problem to have. But to continue on, myself and the detective sergeant will be hosting a Zoom town hall meeting on the 20th of June, which is coming up, to answer any questions that anybody may have about the police department or the hiring process. It's the first time we're doing this. On Friday, tomorrow, we are also getting together with a local resident who has offered to put a promotional video together for us at no charge that we're going to get out on social media. So obviously we are thankful for that. We're meeting tomorrow. I don't know if it's possible to meet tomorrow and complete that. But if we're going to do that, that needs to be done, if it's going to be in any way effective, as soon as possible. But
What's the time for that 6:20 meeting?
the Zoom meeting, I believe, is at 1,900 hours, but it's on the application.
Okay.
And all the links that we have everywhere.
1,900 hours is 7 p.m.
Yeah.
With the numbers of candidates that we are getting, I actually just had a question for the solicitor. I realized that I wasn't expecting to get between, we'll say, 200 and 300 right now, beyond a doubt. There has to be a fairly quick turnaround time on the grading of these tests.
So I can address that.
Okay.
At least one of our vendors, my friend Kate, she's terrific, promises grading within 48 hours of receipt. We'll turn those around right away, ship them back. $25 per exam used. There's approximately $30 shipping. Grading, we ship them back to them. They run them, and we get them back in 2 to 3 days. That's included in the $25 per exam used price. Yes, we can return unused tests. We may not have unused tests if Lieutenant O'Brien's numbers are right, but so we should be fine. I know our goal is to get all the tests graded within a week of July 13th. So literally, I'll take all those tests and get them, so we have it by the end of that week.
Is it the same test that was given last time?
I'm not sure if it's the exact same test. I wouldn't be. We had such a good hiring crew this last time. If it was, it wouldn't upset me. But I really don't know which test we're using.
Yeah, Madam Chair and I went over a test, and it's going to be similar. I'll get it for the board if you're all interested, and we can get it early, and you all can take a look at it.
No, that's not necessary.
Maybe we can take it and see.
Oh, you want to take it?
I was thinking the same thing. See how well I do.
No, I just remember the last test, there was a discussion about what the test would be and the type of, there was, because they wanted to make sure that,
It's not biased.
Right.
It reduces the biases that
Correct.
were inherent in the other testing.
Okay, so
Correct.
these are the same type of tests. Okay.
Correct. That's their goal this time, is to do a better job using the criteria that we discussed.
So Lieutenant O'Brien, the last test, and Dr. Jones would remember this, I believe the company graded the tests for us. No.
No.
Were those tests set out? Because I remember there was a long delay in trying to get those graded.
I don't remember the long delay. Obviously, I'm not saying there wasn't one. Normally, what has happened in the past is that under Solicitor Spears, we assisted with the grading. I don't think it was the grading of the test that took a while. I think it was the notification that took a while. Now, we should have, so obviously we have to notify everybody. They have a 10-day appeal window, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody appeals, obviously there's an open appeal, which I don't anticipate on the written test, but I didn't anticipate it on the oral board last time when we went through that. I've never seen appeal on
And
the
if we
written
get
test.
300 people, it could happen.
Right, but anybody who appeals, we'll just give them the physical agility test. We will not.
Yeah, we're not.
Right, we'll just keep moving forward until.
But
the
that
appeals
physical
are-
agility test is scheduled for the 27th of July, and that's why I'm talking about, we have to notify
Notify.
the top 50 people. It could be, and usually it's 53, 56, because the bottom score being a tie, obviously everybody gets called back. Those 53 people have to be given some kind of heads up about, to report for the physical agility test.
Correct.
How many tests are we ordering?
Well, right now I'm ordering 300 unless we have to give them. They asked for it ships to us in less than a week. I would love to give 2 weeks just because nerd, but we can return. We'll return the unused tests.
I agree. I think that by, and I'm just throwing this out there in my mind, that we should have a hard number of tests we think we want to order by July 1st. especially with the July 4th holiday.
Sure.
I believe they only ship on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right, so July 1, so you and I will just continue to communicate throughout
And
June.
we have been. But, yeah, we may consider ordering 400.
Sure.
If we can return them.
Is
on
there a
other
cutoff
choices.
date for sign up, or they could walk up that moment?
No, the July 8th is the cutoff date, so
So
I think we
ask
should have
you
a
to
pretty
send
good.
it- Send them in by then, or, go to the website so we
Right.
can,
So I would think that by, July 1st, obviously we won't know the exact count, but we should have a pretty good idea when it comes to ordering the test.
Yep.
On what we should do by July 1st. And that would give them 13 days, obviously, to come in, but some of those days being weekends.
yeah, that's what July 1st is a Monday, so that's actually good. So we could order, we'll make a decision right then, order the tests, so they'll be here in plenty of time before Saturday the 13th.
Refresh my recollection, do we have a remedy if somebody walks up and they're not signed up? We're still
Yes.
allowing them to test,
Yeah, absolutely.
correct?
We're not gonna deny
not gonna
anybody.
turn somebody away.
Okay.
We are going to bring approximately 50 blank applications with
Okay.
us.
Just in case.
The initial application literally is name, date of birth, address, email. It will literally take like 5 minutes to fill out the initial application. As we progress, a secondary application is given out before the oral examination. That is a lot more in depth. But it's really just a common face sheet application to walk up that day. We will have blank ones there that day. And then we're going to bring the long applications to the physical agility test. So anybody who passes the physical agility test. And if we bring back 53 people, typically we lose about 7 or 8 during the physical agility testing. So we'll make sure that everybody who leaves there leaves with the long application. And then they have until like a week before the oral board to return it to us.
So you said the top 50, are they the ones that move on to the physical?
That's correct.
Or, so no more than 50 will
Right.
move
The-
on to
well,
the physical?
it's the top 50 that pass. So, I mean, if we have a pool of
Okay.
300, we're definitely going to get 50 people to pass. But let's just say the bottom score is 85. If 7 people get 85, then we'll be calling that 57 people.
Okay, got it.
Right. So we don't.
We don't have a tiebreaker, we let
Yeah.
everybody.
Right, we just bring everybody back.
And the test, is this a multiple choice test, or is this fill in the blank?
I really
Essays
don't
or-
know. About the written test, I really don't have any knowledge.
Okay.
Written test
Okay.
is multiple choice.
Okay, I just know for scoring, okay,
Yeah.
so you don't have to be like certified in score, okay.
Right, it's
You don't have
objective.
to read-
Okay.
You don't have to read
That's
their
exactly what I
writing.
was asking.
Right.
And I've said this before probably 15 times now. But whatever we were trying to accomplish during the last testing cycle, which always starts off with quality officers, always. But I know diversity was important to this board, to the chief. We were able to get quality officers and do some of the best diversity that we have since I've been here. We hired a black male, a Hispanic male, and a female in one testing cycle, which is it's unheard of, to be honest with you. So I think whatever we did in terms of that test that we used last time, and I think that we're going to even have a better turnout this time. No fee for the written test. We're the only people who do that. Now that we're up and running in this century without making people bring in hard copy applications, which we were probably 10 years behind on that, but we're up and running on it right now. And the groups that we've reached out to, we'll see. But I don't have any reason to doubt that whatever we did last time, we should stick to as close to the script as we can.
And if we have 300 tests graded, that's $7,500.
Right.
Not insignificant, I mean, that's,
And that was budgeted for last year
Right.
when this conversation came up with this board last year about ways to make this testing opportunity more open to more people.
Well, it's money well spent.
You
Mhm.
can't
we get
spend
the right
you can't-
candidates. yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now that by agreeing to hire people who don't have the police academy, that's money well spent too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of good people out there that either can't afford the police academy, or maybe they already have a family and a job and they can't afford to break away from that job. So all these things that have moved along, In this area, there's probably, if you don't have the police academy and you want to work for a quality department, which this one is, and you don't have the police academy, we're one of 2 or 3 places you can go. Okay, yes, ma'am.
So for that, can you transfer, like once you've had a successful position with Plymouth Township, can you transfer afterwards, or you will also be blocked because you haven't been in the police academy? Does that make sense? Like, would other departments in other areas, would they be like, no, you don't have the police academy, so you can't?
Almost every police department in this, I would go so far as to say, as far as maybe like this tri-state area, there's very few places that will hire a new officer who is not already certified, who doesn't already have the police academy. We are one of, off the top of my head, probably 3 in this area. So all those places, like this, usually the smaller departments, there might be a great person out there that'd be a great officer. They won't even talk to them because they don't have the police academy. So all those people that are seriously thinking about law enforcement who don't have the academy, they have to come to us.
Mm-hmm.
And all that does is give us a better pool of people, because they have nowhere else to go, almost practically nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole, listen, there's a lot of people out there that are 30 years old with 2 children that would be excellent police officers, but they can't afford to just pack up and go to the police academy. We give them a salary, benefits, and we pay for the academy so they can make that transition. And it's just the initial point about that's expensive and it's time consuming, and that's money well spent also, because you're talking about a 30-year gain for in limbo for 6 months.
And so then you pay for the academy,
We
training
do.
for them, so they will be certified in the academy, and they can,
Right.
okay.
And then they come out and they join us in our field training program.
Mhm.
So it's a requirement of ours that all officers go through the academy. It's just a matter of how quickly we can get them through it.
Well, right. I mean, nobody. You have to be certified through a police academy to get a certification number from the state, and so you cannot work in Pennsylvania until you have this. Some states will let you work for up to a year, and then you have to go through. But in the past, there was a time when, like they put me through the police academy, and that's the way it was 33 years ago. Thank you. No laughing at that. But then there was a period for probably, I want to say, like 15 or 20 years where we said that you had to have the academy already before we were hiring. And now we're back over, I'd say, over maybe the last, not that long now, maybe 2 cycles, when we opened it back up again, because hiring law enforcement, as this board knows, is more difficult than it used to be. People aren't interested.
Thank you.
Anything else, Lieutenant O'Brien?
In terms of the hiring process, no.
Okay. Anything else with the police department?
I just have some miscellaneous business, if you want me to roll right into that.
Sure do.
Officer Brown, Mike Brown, is moving to second class during this period for the civil service. Mike Brown has military experience. He worked in Philadelphia Police Department. He also has a master's in theology. Well, he has a bachelor's and a master's in theology. What I'll say about Mike is that he's quiet, he's steady, and he's mature. There's this a way he carries himself that you see with confidence, without arrogance, those things. But he's just a good presence on the street. He's also popular with the officers on his squad, who's actually working right now. Officer Winchesky completed her first module at the police academy. I spoke with the academy director earlier this week, and she currently has an 88% as she wraps up the first module. I'm not surprised by that. She's bright. Officer Kehoe recently graduated the police academy. He just completed his first phase of the FTO program, so that means he's now riding on his own, not with an officer right next to him, obviously under very heavy supervision. I actually worked the other night and was on a couple calls with him. He was a prior U.S. military police officer in the Army. I'll throw that out there. And while I was working with that squad at about 1 o'clock in the morning going to calls, I spoke with the sergeant. He's quiet, as new people should be, and he's fitting in really well. That's key. I know this isn't the month to do it. I've been throwing this out there. But once we get past this written test and maybe past the July meeting, I would request to maybe start having a serious conversation about the promotion process moving forward for the position of lieutenant and for sergeant. There is going to be movement. I do not have any movement right now. But this testing process can take up to 6 months easily. And at the end of this year, I only have a year left. And so it would be my desire, and whatever sergeant gets promoted to lieutenant, that obviously opens up a sergeant position in the whole chain reaction like any other business. Plus we have a sergeant that I'm confident, without him announcing that he will be retiring within the next 12 months. My guess would be sooner, but there's been no official declaration of that. But it's because these things take time. Maybe once we get past the July meeting, we start heading to August, we could have a conversation about how this board wants that process to look. I just got a text as I was walking the door. We just picked up our new canine from up in New York. His name, I just found out, is Amigo. And so Amigo is literally driving back to the Plymouth Township Police Department as we speak right now. It'll be cross-trained as a patrol operating dog and also as a narcotics dog.
How old is
I literally know that his name is Amigo. That's exactly. And then, like I said, that he has his dog. They're safe and they're headed back. And that's Officer Watts, who
No pictures or anything?
whose dog just passed away.
That was my
Malinois?
question.
I don't even know if it's a Malinois or a Shepherd. I know the guys. I literally Amigo is what I know, and that he's safe and headed back.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
telling you, I was in this parking lot, and I said, "Thank you. Do you need anything?" He said, "No." And I think I've talked long enough. Obviously, as always, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I think that covers what I brought to this meeting.
Anybody have any questions for Lieutenant O'Brien? Okay.
Throw me an easy one.
What's your favorite color?
It's actually black, which my wife hates.
Old business. I, for the first time in months, do not have old
Nice.
business. Thank you for submitting an application or a desire to serve on the Civil Service Commission. I truly, truly am excited that you're here, and we all look forward to working with you. New business. I do not have it. Does anyone have any new business?
So
Any new business on your behalf,
Lieutenant
sir?
O'Brien covered everything on my list except one point. He mentioned Patrol Officer Michael Brown being promoted to second class with the Chief Certificate letter dated June 6th. Also got one, Troy Lachtenmeyer, a second class officer, being promoted to first class officer last month. Did you see that?
I didn't. That got by me.
So Troy Lachtenmeyer is promoted to first class patrol officer. Do we like him?
Do we like him? We like him a lot.
We like him a lot. There we go.
Yeah, we. This be one of those things this board probably doesn't remember, but we stepped it up. He was getting ready to get hired by Percy, and we knew it. So it was one of those times this was years ago now, where we actually had a stepped up meeting during that hiring process, and we were able to steal him from Percy, which made them unhappy, which had no effect on.
Made you happy.
He's young, he's bright, he's a future leader here, and he was on some of the most significant calls just by fate that have happened here in the last 3 years. And he stood tall and he stood proud, and he was there for his officers. We always need help, but when they really needed help, and at that time, he'd only been here for about 18 months, when one of the most serious incidents that's happened in this township over the last 20 years or so, with the exception of one, obviously. And he was right there. He was young and he stood tall, and he's a good officer. He's solid.
So
He'll be sitting here with you guys someday. I believe that.
that's awesome. So that was the two chief certificates. Again, our meeting in July is the 13th, Saturday. Sorry, Commissioner Designee. First thing we drop on you is a Saturday. Normally, our meetings, of course, are the second Thursday of each month, but because we're having the written test, the board voted to move our meeting so everybody will be together with the candidates taking the test. So I guess Saturday morning, I think did we say 10 o'clock for the time for our meeting? I apologize.
I don't think we said it, did we?
Okay, I don't know if we said it.
Linda Linkle sent me an email because the advertisement went out. If I can get into my email, I will tell you. If we want to keep moving on, why I'm looking that up and trying to
it's
log
at the
in.
Montgomery County, I'll send this around to everybody. It's the Montgomery County Public Safety and Trading Academy, 1175 Conshohocken Road in Conshohocken. I'll send all this out to you so you'll all have it.
Can we just clarify our involvement? I mean, we're going to have our meeting, but are we proctoring, observing? What's our role in the examination
So I'll be
process?
welcoming everybody, and you can all help me distribute tests if you'd like.
Yeah,
What time is the test? 9?
Yes, they're to report, if we're under the assumption we're only having one test right now, that test is supposed to begin at 9 a.m., 0900.
We always proctored the test,
Mhm.
which meant that we wouldn't meet during the test.
no, we would break away and leave the solicitor, or actually not the solicitor, we would leave either Lieutenant O'Brien or whoever the most senior officer was to oversee that.
I'll leave you alone.
I'll have a crew of officers there. And the one thing to keep in mind too, if we do start getting spread out over classrooms, this is all part of what I'll know more about on Tuesday. I believe we have the cafeteria in some classrooms available as overflow from the auditorium.
I just remember meeting beforehand, but it could have happened.
Yeah.
There was a couple tests I did, but I remember when we met before the test started.
Mhm.
How long does the test typically take? Are we 2-3 hours?
From the time they check in till the time we're wrapped up, there'll always be 5 people there, and I don't mean this about that use every. There's always 5 people that use every. I think typically most people are done probably with about a half an hour or 35 minutes left on the official clock, but there's always 5 people or so who take advantage of every second they're given. I think that 3 to 3.5 hours would be a pretty good estimate.
But if one of you or more of you need to leave, I presume I'll be there till the end. I presume you'll be there. I mean,
Absolutely.
we'll have staff there.
Right, and this board will not be responsible for like checking people in and
No.
stuff like that. There's police department staff.
Okay.
They'll actually get the ID and check people in, and we have them all lined up already. And the same for the physical agility.
Just a reminder, I'll be out of town that weekend.
Mhm.
I think I will also be out of town that weekend as well. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
We understand.
We're going to have to revoke your membership.
I know. I'm like, great. There's time, but I could be there for the physical agility.
Oh, but wait, hold on till public comment.
Oh, sorry.
You can say this during public comment.
Strike it.
I'm kidding. Just so we can have public comment. That was all I had. Lieutenant O'Brien covered everything on my list except the one chief certificate. We are good.
I am trying to open this attachment.
I can try.
Oh, wait, something's happening. 10 a.m. Meeting has changed to Saturday, July 13th at 10 a.m. And it will be held at the training center.
There we go.
Yeah, so for the members that have not been with us when we've had a test administered, solicitor will be responsible for all the instructions, the timing, all that stuff. We just proctor. We help hand out materials. We collect things when he tells us to collect them. Sometimes applicants need to use the restroom. So we just ensure that they leave all their testing materials and that they do not remove their cell phones because they're not allowed to have their cell phones or use their cell phones. They're allowed to use the restroom, come back, and then when they're completed, we just make sure that we have all their stuff, that it's turned into the people accepting the testing and stuff, and then they leave. And at some point, they always feed us pizza and sometimes bring us donuts and coffee.
Who's responsible for ordering that?
I'll be responsible for handling it.
Even better.
Sometimes breakfast sandwiches and bagels and cream cheese is good too.
So noted.
We don't work for free.
Right.
Not at all.
Commissioner Smith designee, yes, you do work for free in this town. Let's just be clear.
They pay us in bagels.
No pizza
and,
bribes.
and
Typically
pizza.
at that meeting, I do not, I mean, I'll be there if there's a question, but typically
You do not
that
have a
meeting's
police
held
report.
without,
Yeah.
right, obviously I'll come over, but in case there was something that wanted to be discussed outside of my earshot. So I don't typically go to that meeting.
Correct. And that's pretty much the way that day
I have
goes.
my sources.
I'm gonna have breakfast sandwiches, the session I'm not at. We never
Yes.
have breakfast sandwiches.
The session you're not.
This is a new commission and this is what we're demanding.
I
breakfast
may-
sandwiches.
Maybe for the August meeting, maybe the solicitor will bring snacks for dinner.
All right.
When's your term up?
Right, well, that's
All right. So,
all I have, Madam Chair.
anybody else have any new business? No.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
So do we also support with the physical agility test?
I've never had a member of the Civil Service Commission come to the physical agility test, but I will tell you that you have every right.
Yeah, it's not certainly not prohibited.
Okay.
If you wish to go watch the candidates run around and do whatever Lieutenant O'Brien tells them to
Yeah.
do, God love you.
Yeah. So.
Are you mean to them?
No, we don't do that stuff. Anymore,
Okay.
to be honest with you.
Anymore.
We're still trying to recruit them. Once we have them,
Among the things I can
Then
email
you're
you,
mean.
Then we're
fitness, the standards
test
and
them.
requirements.
yeah, we,
Okay.
Yeah,
we try to
respond to
get
my
them
email
towards
so I
the
make sure I
station.
have your correct contact
We hang
information
around.
and I'll punch
I
you.
bring
email
like
is
7
this?
officers
So
in.
I had one from
Okay.
Linda.
Yes, and then I sent you one earlier as well.
I think it's all staged.
What was the? Do you know? Do you know what
I
was
got those
your
guys who are like 40
email?
that are
So it's
involved.
it's Espadami.
Some of them are
I have
really
two. I don't know
officers,
which
they
one.
just-
it
Right,
comes
they're
from.
doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the men.
We should
It's just saying, hey, welcome. If you're going to come tonight, that's
They
awesome.
do,
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, so that's in the thread.
but it's real
All right.
friendly and it's
So
really
you're
laid back.
again. I can
As a matter of fact,
once
we can
you're
tell them.
notaried, I can send you like our physical
Okay, I do see
requirements.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I suspect Chair Mabry could pass those today. The physical tests.
Yes.
Yeah, she kicked ass.
Yes. Yeah, if you have them.
No, I
Yeah.
meant you could pass them.
Oh, I could pass them. Oh, I thought you meant pass them out. No, I'm going to be 60 this year, so things are hurting. And he keeps reminding me that they can recall retired officers, and I keep saying good luck with that. Next up is compliance update. We did that.
We just did that.
Okay. Next up after that would be public comment.
I have a question. So,
A member of the public is commenting. I loved it with the question.
so.
Please identify yourself for the.
Yes, my name is Patricia Smith. I'm a resident of Plymouth Township.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I do have a question. So you said that you had a lot more applicants this year. What did you do differently from last year? To like, was it advertising? Was it marketing? Was it?
I think we did a lot of the same stuff, but I think we improved upon it. I don't know if we have our announcing this test on bulletin boards along
Yeah.
the East-West Turnpike at the mall, at the community center. We have our signboards out. That's pretty traditional. We have a marketing company that geofences
Okay.
phones within this location. We get tens of thousands of hits off of that. And we extended that period last year. I think we did it for 3 weeks. We were actually thinking about doing a radio campaign this year, but our marketing advisor said that we actually get more hits if we would extend this. So we extended it. We have certain groups we reach out to. I think one of the best things that we have done is going electronic, which I know, like, especially if like being new, it sounds almost ridiculous that we just started this hiring cycle accepting applications by going online and clicking on something and filling out, and not quite hitting submit, but basically doing that. The previous solicitor just didn't really want to go that way. Maybe he was just old school, but I think that has probably been, well, the fact that we're paying for the academy, that will pay a substantial salary while you're going to the academy, the test being free, I think all of these things have added up to us having success. I said this before, there are good departments around here. not as good as us, but very quality departments that were hiring like 4 or 5 officers that had 14 applicants in the last 12 months. They had 14 applicants. They canceled their hiring process because there's no way they were going to hire 3 or 4 people with only 14 applicants. I know Conshohocken, I think they had 2 positions. I think they had 5 applicants. I would like to also say that this is an attractive destination. These are not just words. This is a nice township. I don't think our salary and benefit packet hurts us at all when it comes to recruiting. And I also think that whatever national story is going on at the time, that doesn't always become, whether it's like pro or anti law enforcement. I've learned a long time ago the national story is not always the local story. So when there was a lot of anti-police sentiment in this country the last couple of years, I don't think our officers felt it, to be honest with you. And I think that this community is known for that. And they're not just words. And then that's why you'll find a lot of veteran officers who have like 3 or 4 or 5 years in elsewhere. They come here and they apply, and they're willing to give up because you can't transfer time in Pennsylvania yet. They just passed a House bill, but that's a whole different story. But they're willing to give up 4 or 5 years to come here and work. So I think that all of these things come together. You might get 20 applicants each for each of these things, and it ends up being 200 at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good community to be a police officer.
Any more public comment? No.
No.
Closing comments. Just appreciate everybody's hard work. I appreciate artists for recruiting
Yes.
and walking the walk. I know that there are other civilian boards in this township where they don't have quorums and they don't have enough members to conduct the business that they need to conduct. But I think this is one of the, from my perspective, being in this township for 25 years, this is a commission whose work touches every township resident and everyone coming through this township, through the police department. So I appreciate everybody's hard work. I look forward to seeing everybody on the day of the test, July 13th. And I have nothing else. If anybody has anything else,
Make a motion to adjourn.
yeah, let's do that.